Ok.
Quay phim này.
Dạ vâng, em sẽ quay lại phần phỏng vấn này. Đầu tiên giới thiệu với chị, em là Nhung, em là trung tâm tuyển dụng của Step Up. Thì bây giờ mình sẽ bắt đầu phần phỏng vấn. Okay. Can you tell me something about yourself?
Hi, my name is HIền Linh. You can call me Haley or Linh is fine. I graduated from Foreign Trade University with bachelor degree, and my major was in business English. A few years later, I achieved a scholarship to do my master degree in the UK, and I stayed there for 4 years, doing some professional work as well. And I moved back to Vietnam last year, and I'm now looking for a full-time English teaching job.
Can you tell me more about your experiences as an English teacher?
Okay. So when I was a student, I was already teaching English to a lot of younger friends, because I was my major was in English, even in high school. So they really trusted me, and I was teaching a lot as a tutor. And then after I achieved my IELTS score with 8.0, then I got some invitation to teach in some centers like Ngọc Huyền Center, which is my friend's center, and another one was RES, Reliable English School, just around the corner here. Recently, I just taught in Rocket Online. It was a project teaching for business leaders in PV Powers, and I was teaching to the CEOs and the managers in there. And they were satisfied with my teaching, and at the end of last year I achieved an award as one of the outstanding teacher of the year.
Do you have a full-time job now?
No, I'm looking for a full-time job because I actually just moved the direction. I was really passionate at doing some social work and community work, so I was working in NGOs, but then I just redirected my life a little bit, because actually I'm really passionate in teaching and inspiring young people, and I feel like I have been achieving a lot and giving a lot in this field, and I got a lot of support in this direction, and my students really love what I teach, so I think that is the best way to contribute to the society.
So can you tell me about one student that you impressed the most?
I impressed the most. I think I would just like the first person came up to my mind was my previous student, who was the vice president of PV Powers, and I think I impressed him because he was really scared in learning English, and he's extremely busy as a vice president of the company. He's extremely busy, and it was very difficult to arrange a time to study with him. And even during the time we were learning, he had a lot of phone calls, so it was difficult in the beginning for me and also for him. But I decided that, okay, even though I was younger than him, but still I have to put the teaching as a priority, and the quality of the class is the best. So I asked him not to use the phone in the class in a polite way, and I have to focus on what he really needed. So what kind of English he really needed, he wanted to use it for what. So I decided not to just like to use a fixed teaching book, or okay, we always teach in this way for this level of students. But actually I asked him a lot of questions, what to use English for. So it turned out that he wanted to use English just for basic communication with his business partners. So like when we go out to eat, or if he meets some people abroad when he's on business trip in the UK or other countries, or if he goes on a flight and he meets somebody just sitting next to him. So I try to focus on some situations like that and teach him how to, like, really based on situations, and use a lot of visual images and like music and things like that, just to really make him feel comfortable with those things. So I could feel that like after about 2 months, his English improved a lot, and he was really committed in learning. So he tried to set the time to learn English. So actually he put it as a priority before his meetings. And if he couldn't make it, he really felt sorry for that, and he really respected me. And yeah, I felt like it was truly like inspiring for both of us, and we were really committed in that process.
How will you deal with lazy students?
Lazy students. I think I always try to work out why they were lazy. So some students told me that, because it's too hard. For example, they had a problem in because they just feel like it was too difficult for them, and when they had to study, they just felt like I didn't want to study. So I try to give them some more new ways of learning. For example, they say that it's too difficult to learn new words. So I found out that actually the way they learn new words are like they listed down too many difficult words. So I said that actually you don't need to learn that much at your level, just need to learn these words, like very easy words. And I put in the sticker notes and put it very nicely in the ways wherever you can see, and make you feel like you enjoy learning instead of like forcing yourself to learn a lot. So that will make them feel like less pressured. So that's the first thing to make them feel less lazy, because we can feel more inspired to learn when we feel like, oh, I can do it. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is make them understand very clear why they are learning. Because sometimes they are lazy because they don't understand how important it is for them to learn. So like just to make them very clear about what they can achieve and how to work through that. And I think they also need a lot of support from the teachers as well. So sometimes I also teach them some other things. So for example, I will show them some videos about success. And the way to success is not like, oh, how talented you are, how amazing you are, but actually how persistent you are in learning. So if you make mistakes, if you fail, the most important thing is you still keep doing those things. You overcome those difficulties, and you keep going, and you will get there one day. So I tell them about those things to inspire them, so that they feel like, oh, I failed, but actually everybody will fail at some point. So the most important thing is not to give up, but keep moving. So yeah, just inspire them.
What is it like teaching at Rocket online? I mean, teaching online?
Actually, I taught at Rocket online, but the classes I taught was the offline courses. Online classes. Yeah.
And how was the students' level?
The students' level was basic.
And you will teach them like communication, pronunciation,
communication, a little bit of grammar as well, and writing.
And normally, how will you measure the improvement of the students?
We had the table, like an Excel table, but like we keep track of every week. So every week, what did we teach? What did the students learn? Did the student do the homework? What kind of improvements did he do, or did he make any things like lazy? So we took notes all of that, and then through all the weeks we see the improvements through that, and we can give the overall feedback after the whole course.
So do you use your textbook, or does the center have their
The center supported a few different sources of materials, but it's up to the teachers to teach. And I think it also depends on the teachers as well, because some teachers, they like me, I feel I'm very creative. So
you prefer using your lesson plan?
Yeah, I have my own lesson plan, but actually based on the materials even. And then also like some other creativity, like, oh, I have this kind of source from here, I saw this from there or from online, and then I put all of them together.
Yeah, it's kind of the same with our center.
Okay, yeah. That's
Why don't you teach at RES or the life school?
The life school was actually
Or
my
the club?
yeah, the English club. It was my own English club, so I set it up. But then the thing is, I could still be running it, but it was a little bit too much for me because I'm very good at teaching, but at marketing and doing like managing money, then I need somebody to do it with me. I cannot do everything by myself. Like too much. Like I just want to focus on what I'm good at. So I just like kind of delayed it at the moment. Not running.
And how about RES?
RES, I taught there a few years ago, and I don't know, just I don't know why, but I think I also want to see a few centers, because in RES I feel like it's a little bit too many students in the class. I think
normally how many students are there in the class at RES?
It's really busy. And I love giving quality teaching instead of mass teaching.
Well, so if you prefer a smaller size class, so I think Startup can offer you that, because in one class at Startup we only have 6 to 10 students per class. So, and I think it's the perfect number for students to learn English effectively.
Cool. I also noticed that on the website that the size of the class is pretty small.
So do you know anything about our courses?
So I know that it's founded by Win, right? And he's also the student of Foreign Trade University. And you have a few courses, and you focus pretty a lot on pronunciation, communication, TOEIC, and the main students that maybe because he have also started as from the beginning, so he really focused on students who struggled with English from the beginning. So I feel like your center is like focusing on that and trying to inspire students that you can do it. It's not as difficult as it is. So I think that's also like what I really love. And the second thing that I focus on is because in a lot of English centers now I can teach, but I love the thing that I wanted to do is to be a full-time teacher. So instead of running around in a lot of places with like different schedules, but I love just like have one focus here, and then doing teaching, like have a clear direction and something more stable.
Okay, now I have a case for you. You will imagine that I'm your students. Just pretend my levels is pre-intermediate. And you will give me a 10-minute demo class. And you can teach anything you want. For example, communication or pronunciation. Or vocabulary, anything. You can choose the topic. And you can use the board here.